All right, so now you know how to use a master prompt, right? But how about creating a master prompt? So the first thing that I want to do is we're going to go through the master prompt I created. Then we're going to create a branding master prompt together and see what happens. You see, the master prompt for your branding will be done in such a way that you can run through it with your customer, and in the end of it, you will know the archetype, you will know the brand voice, and things like that. Things that a customer didn't even think you can do. So, a master prompt, let me just explain this first. It's really, and you can see in this image here, it shows a vault, right? It's because simply this becomes your style. This becomes your signature. Why I'm saying this is you're going to continuously, even in the web page development, you're going to continuously fine-tune your master prompts, and that will come through in all the work you do, if you get my drift. So all your websites will have that slight same signature, meaning that if a customer sees your work, they also, of course, without even realizing it, do see your signature. Okay, so that what's in your master prompt, that fine-tuned things you put into your master prompt. And when they do get their stuff, although it's not even, you can't really even say it's similar to somebody else's site, it is different, but there's something to it that will remind you of, or remind the customer of the work you've done. It's like a painting. You know, you look at Van Gogh or somebody, you can draw totally different things, or you can paint totally different things, but you can still see it's a Van Gogh. All right, so a master prompt you can think of as, in a way, as the interview, right? So it will ask you all kinds of questions. Where does it get the questions? Well, it gets it from you, because you're the guy that's going to create the master prompt. And you're going to have a set of questions in master prompts that you will always ask, and then when the master prompt run, you will answer them. So that is really your context, right? Inside there you can have things like the way cards look like, the way Euro images and Euro sections look like, and all that comes part of your style. Just to go back quickly, so your master prompt becomes the interview. You add to that assets like images, videos, and so forth, and then you generate the output. So that is really how a master prompt works and how we work with it. So now the first thing is forceful equals intention. Now, AI loves to assume things. AI loves to, do things like reading between the lines. AI loves to rather come up with some kind of an idea instead of asking you to then just assume will be fine and then do it. And the end result is that you then end up with something that you probably didn't want. So that is why when we say, you need to be forceful when you give AI commands. And also keep that in mind in your normal prompting. So you can do things like, if you look at the force we use here, critical instruction, do not skip. Remember, that's now what AI sees. So it realizes you are very serious about this. You must ask the questions below before writing any code. All right. It doesn't help it writes code and then asks the questions afterwards. Tokens cost money, and let me tell you soon, yes, in coding space, but in many other spaces, you'll start seeing how token cost is entered into financial budgets to say, we have 100 million tokens for branding, we have 50 million tokens for images, and so forth, because yes, it does cost money. What we do now, no, it's not costing money, because we're not really using it intensively yet. But if you're going to have 10 customers, you'll have to start thinking of the paid plans. So I would say with around 600-700 Rand, you can have an large language model like Grok or Perplexity or any one of those, or Kimi even. You'll probably have a very low plan for images and video creation, because you know what, if you do image creation right the first time, you don't have to generate 20 images to get the result you want. And then you'll have a coding platform like Cursor. We're going to handle that next. But think of it, 700 Rand, you've got a graphic designer, you've got a very clever business marketing coach, and you've got a coder. Or if you in tier 2, you'll see how you can run 4 or 5 coding agents at the same time. So you can have 1, 2, 4, 10, 20 coders all working for you, and all this for under 1,000 Rand. All right, if that sounds too much, I don't know. I give up. 24/7 coder, coding every day, morning, night, for 1,000 Rand. So, and then you still have all the branding specialists, the graphic design, video creation, all for under 1,000. So that's probably, if you think of it, your budget. What will your cost be to start up, let's say, a business? 1,000 Rand if you have a computer. If you don't have a computer, you'll need one. All right, you'll need to buy one. But I'm sure you've got a computer. You're sitting in front of a computer right now. But that's besides the point. So the one thing, if you look at the master prompt, yes, you can see what we said. Just look to the top. We gave it a role. You are an expert front-end architect and creative developer. Your task is to generate a complete single-file HTML website that is visually stunning, all right, fully responsive, meaning it will work on mobile phones as well, and includes rich animations and interactions. Now, the animations for me is too rich. All right, so I might even start off, say, include rich animations where animations will enhance the message of the site or show towards important areas in the web page. So we start off by saying you must do this. If you're not going to do it, and that's what I've done in my first time I've created this prompt, I did not use this forceful language, you know. And basically, AI grabbed my images. It did read a lot from the images. It could, for example, from that figure out, you know, things like what type of page it is. Because if there was like coffee beans in the image, it'll say, oh, it's probably something to do with coffee. Another thing, the brand, if it looks at the images, it can see, oh, you know what, this looks very spicy, funky, nutrition type of website, and it will start making conclusions. All right, you don't want AI to make conclusions, right? So we then ask it questions, and then we said, and you can see here again, verify image uploads. Ask the questions about the images, all right, before you continue. So if it's uploaded, and even if you understand it, and what you'll see AI do with the images, it will actually describe it for you. And it will say, I see you use, you know, cyberpunk colors, and I can see this and that. You have to tell it which one of those are your logo, maybe. And then finally, something I never had in there is to tell you where the images should be stored, because that's important. Else it's going to maybe type in there, you know, like it did previously, a Kimi folder that stores images. Now that won't help you anything. The images won't display. So you have to tell it, are images stored in the same directory as the HTML page, or in a subdirectory like images? Because when your AI agent is going to create these images for you, it needs to put the link to where the image are inside the HTML. So if it's an image that's in the same directory, for instance, as the HTML documents, you just have to put the link as the image name. There's no path needed. If it's in a subdirectory called images, you'll see it says images slash and then the image name. So this is sort of the beginning of creating our prompt. All right. So in the next lesson, we're going to continue, go into details, and then on this third lesson, we're going to create the branding prompt. So I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.